welcome back to SlydeBytes. Go ahead and put that on standby. How y'all doing? Hope you're having a great weekend. I'm recording this on the weekend, obviously. Anyway, welcome to SlydeBytes. If you're not familiar with the channel, this is a budget guitar and gear review channel. All the equipment you see on this channel is my own. Nothing is provided to me unless it's from family and friends and things like that. So, that was fun. That was a really heavy intro. I've been playing some metal anyway today, and I figured, you know what? This was already on my mind. If you've ever been curious, you know, what is really right for you? Passive pickups? Passive pickups like what's in this ESP LTD TE200, or active pickups like what's in this Squier Contemporary Active Jazzmaster. I use both of these. These are both in double drop B currently. And I use both of these religiously. I love both these guitars quite a bit. And these three, or I should say, these two guitars with my Fender Stratocaster are my three main guitars, because I keep all three in double drop B, which is one of my favorite, if not my favorite tuning. And yeah, they all three kind of have a cool, unique character that's kind of hard to capture with other guitars. They just captured that tuning really well, and with my amp setup, we were running through the Blackstar HT Club 40 Mark II, and we have no other pedals or anything on right now because that's not really the point of this conversation. The point of today is we're going to look at active pickups, like what's here versus passive pickups right here. And you know, a lot of this is going to come down to gain. We'll do a little bit of clean playing, but mostly it's going to be listening to that gain structure and hearing which one sounds right for you. Again, remember, these are both in the same tuning, and they're both running relatively medium gauge strings, is what I call them. I can't remember what the sets are, but it's something that kind of not quite as heavy as Mammoth Slinky's, probably close to a Burley Slinky set. Which is kind of like one of my favorite sets, and I use Mammoth on some guitars too, but I really like Burley's these days. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take some listen to both these guitars again for a minute, and yeah, let's talk about passive pickups versus active pickups. And these are both going to be ceramic pickups to my knowledge. Yeah, let's go ahead and listen to it. And we are using an Legato wireless system today, so. What's interesting to me is that when I'm playing with active pickups, like what's in the Squier Jazzmaster, versus something like this ESP LTD TE200, you know, these are very hot passive pickups. I would consider them to be very hot ceramic pickups. These are pretty nasty, pretty hot pickups too in this Jazzmaster. One thing I am noticing, and the tone with debate will go on and on and on and on. I will say this one is a much brighter, snappier tone in general though, versus this one being a little bit darker and heavier sounding as far as tone. And I would say this one, you know, this is a mahogany body, 24 frets, and this is a poplar body, I believe, with 21 frets, but the scaling is, I believe, on both of them 25.5 inches. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's the bridge style. I don't know. But yeah, you do hear a little bit more brightness, a little bit more snap. But I also think that might be something to do with the pickups themselves being a little bit hotter. These are humbucker pickups in both. But I have noticed with a lot of active pickups, especially in the past I've played, you get a lot of. It feels to me like they're a little bit brighter than what I'm used to experiencing. I don't know if that's anyone else's experience with it. Maybe you find it muddy. But I find every time I played with them, and I've played them on other guitars too, they tend to be a little bit brighter, a little bit snappier, but also they just have a lot of gain. And you know, that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're doing. Let's go ahead and turn the amp to its clean setting for a minute. So for me, what I'm hearing, this is a meatier guitar in general, but all things considered, really I actually do hear a little bit more, and this is maybe hard to tell through, you know, just a camera mic, but I am noticing a little bit more harmonic frequencies coming out on cleans with the passive pickups than the active. The active pickups, they do have this really pleasant, bright, and snappy response. Now, you can obviously tone these down too a little bit if you roll on the tone knob, if you have a tone knob on your active guitar. Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things where it's really going to come down to personal preference. But I just kind of wanted to look into this a little bit today because, you know, especially for someone like myself who plays a lot of metal, I play other genres too, but I do play a lot of metal. It's kind of hard to decide sometimes, you know, do I want a passive pickup or do I want an active pickup? A lot of people find passive pickups to be a little bit more nuanced. They just seem to have a lot of extra frequencies, very expressive pickups, and a lot of people find active pickups really powerful and good for cutting through a mix, and you're getting a lot more of that, you're getting a lot more of the high end, I feel like, and sometimes some low end depending on the type of active pickups you're going with. But it just seems to cut through a little bit and have kind of a unique, I find almost a little bit of a mid-push nasally, a little bit tone to them. Again, that might come into some of that brightness, some of that, maybe a little bit of that extra snappiness I hear in the guitar too. It comes down to personal preference. You see a lot of metal bands using active pickups because they do help cut through the mix and help your guitar stand out a little bit more. However, you see people that like the dynamics of passive pickups and those extra little frequencies here and there. They may not always cut through as well as active pickups, but you have a bit of character to them. It's kind of hard to get. You'll see people like Jim Root using, they went in depth to design his, I think it's the Demonims or something like that, pickups for his guitars now, because he wanted to get some of those extra dynamics like what you get in passives, but still have an active pickup that can cut through the mix. You'll see a lot of people trying to combine that. For you out there, my dear listeners and viewers, you're gonna have to kind of decide, you know, which one really sells it for you. Are you looking for more of a you know, pushed sound that's cutting through a mix heavier, or do you want more dynamic and expressive playing? I feel like if you're a dual guitar playing group, you might do well to have two active pickup guitar, or two guitars you might do well to have two guitars playing active pickups, helping, you know, you're pushing really hard, you're driving, like that's how Slipknot does it, for example. They use two active pickups, or maybe one active pickup, a guitar, one passive, something like that to kind of help, you know, each other stand out a little more. If your solo guitar is playing, you might be okay just using passive pickups, you know, if you have just a bass and a drummer, or you might want active depending on your bass's style and things like that. So there's some things to consider, but in general what I notice is active tend to be a little bit hotter and a little bit brighter, and I've noticed that a lot of passive pickups tend to be a little bit cooler and a little bit more nuanced in their frequencies of the capture. So it's going to be kind of a toss-up. Personal opinion here, I actually prefer passive pickups in general. I don't like having to have a 9-volt battery, which, yeah, you do have to have a 9-volt battery, and that is kind of a thing for a lot of people. They don't like that. I don't like that. I personally would rather not have to worry about battery in anything. I hate having to have batteries and things. But I do really like my active guitars, and I think they sound great and have a place, especially when I'm mixing guitars and bass and stuff like that together in my own music. I like to use either an active in the rhythm or the lead section to kind of help stand out a little bit against the passive guitar. Or I'll mix passive guitars with two different types of passive pickups together, stuff like that. That layering and blending is really fun to do. But in the end, really, it is going to come down to personal preference. To a lot of experienced players, this isn't going to be too much of a newsflash, but for you beginners who this is kind of more aimed at, especially new folks getting into metal, things like that, this might be something to really consider. So yeah, again, which one sounded best to you? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you use most in your own time? Thanks for watching SlydeBytes. I appreciate all of you who keep coming back and watching the channel. If you like what I'm doing, please, and you feel like I've earned it, please consider liking and subscribing, because that does help a long way, helping this little guitar channel grow. Otherwise, if you like the way I play, you can find more of my original music over on Instagram and TikTok. I'm always, uploading music that I write over there. And otherwise, guys, more content is always in the works. Keep shredding, partners. I will see you soon with more guitar content. Bye.